So I think we're live,
Okay,
which
great.
which is awesome. And you guys always end up catching Madeline and I talking as we're waiting for, hello, as we're waiting for
the phone here. Yeah, sorry. I got disconnected.
as we're waiting for the connection. So what I just want to welcome everyone to our cosmic chat. Madeline Parker and Amalia Natalio here. Really excited to share this crazy cosmic weather with you because there's some energy that is amped up already, and we haven't even hit the eclipse day yet. So we're going to prepare you as the best we can, and share with you the energy that's coming. Madeline's going to do a deep dive, I'm sure, into that. I want to share just a few little tidbits before we begin around it. So we have an eclipse that's occurring on March 25th at 3 a.m. Eastern. It is in the sign of Libra, and it's a partial penumbral lunar eclipse. And what that means is that the Earth's shadow is going to come across the moon, and there's going to be you'll see more of a ring of light. Since it's not a total eclipse. And what I found fascinating about this eclipse in particular is that it has a penumbral magnitude of 10. Now, I was doing some research to see what the range is, and to find out the significance of that. And basically, it's a rating of how much of the moon's light you see and the duration of the eclipse. And this is a super long eclipse, 279.9 minutes.
I didn't know that.
It's wow. A long eclipse. So when I read that, like, I immediately felt this energy of like, buckle up, Buttercup, because whatever you are not seeing, you're going to see. Whatever you're not feeling, you're going to feel. And the energy of eclipses, to me, it's like, before I really understood them, I was scared of them. I was scared of the energy that I would feel during eclipse season because it can be really intense and challenging. But now I understand why it happens, why it's there. It's in order to kind of, shake you up so that you can break through something, so that you can finally see something or accept something or change something that's happening in your life. It always brings change. There's always a change that's going to occur with an eclipse. And you can make, Madeline and I talk about this a lot. It's those choices that you make yourself, and those choices that the universe really highly encourages / nudges / forces / pushes you to do. And you can do it gracefully, or you can do it with resistance. And eclipses really ensure that whatever it is that you might be resisting, you let go of. The other aspect of this that I think is also really interesting, and that I've noticed has come up a lot in my personal life and with my clients, and that's the one thing that I notice, is whenever I'm preparing for these cosmic chats, I'm looking at the astrology, and I'm also looking around in my world and in the world of my clients to see what are the themes that are showing up. And there's and obviously with an eclipse, you've got these nodal activations in Libra and Aries that Madeline's, I'm sure, going to be talking a lot about as well. And with Libra, we're letting go of these old patterns around like needing someone in our life, like kind of like codependent sort of feeling. And then Aries is more of that, I am independent, I am self-sovereign, I have it all figured out. And striking that balance between codependence and fierce independence to the point of, kind of lone wolf, finding that interdependent energy. But you have to kind of go swing one way and the other in order to find the middle ground. And so this eclipse is really going to help us complete energetic and emotional cycles that we have with partners, with friends, maybe business dealings, and being able to come back into yourself. So there might be relationships that end. There might be, and it might not be that relationships end, but the old dynamic that you had in that relationship changes. And maybe you can find a way where you can both be the sovereigns in the relationship and come together as a more united and equal team. And so I'm really excited about the energy of this in terms of how we can have these really beautifully solid, structured foundation relationships in our lives, because those are that's like, when we feel a really good relationship with ourselves, and we have a really good relationship with our family or friends or our partner, doesn't life just feel better? I mean, it does. It just feels good.
Doesn't
And so
the word, the stable relationship sounds so good. A stable relationship.
it does. And that's, that structure, that foundation, and, Saturn has a pretty strong presence right now. So we've got some of that energy that's flowing for all of us too, to really support us in that journey. So I'm excited in terms of the outcome of this eclipse. Not particularly excited about the journey, because I've been feeling this significantly. I've had a lot of emotions come up for myself. I've had a lot of clients that have reached out having a tough time, a lot of emotions coming up for them. So yeah, and I guess the other aspect of that, I would say, for those who do have emotions that are coming up, allow them space to be there. Let the tears flow. Punch a pillow if you're angry. If you're feeling frustration, go outside. Try to find a way to ground yourself while also allowing the energy to come out. Don't hold it in or try to make it better in any way. Let it flow. Jump up and down. Exercise. Take a walk. Move your body, move the energy, and allow it space to breathe and exit. And I feel like that would be extremely helpful as we process this period of time. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Wow. Yeah. I'll see what I can add to all of that.
I have a feeling you'll be able to add a lot, because there's a lot of stuff happening.
There is, well, you touched on the Saturn thing, which is very big, a big component on this eclipse, and I will show you why. So let's go ahead and share the screen here with the actual visuals of the eclipse and how it's going to, what it looks like. It's a lunar eclipse, so we're looking at the moon. It's an internal eclipse, so our internal selves is going to play out. In other words, the state of your internal emotional being, where you are in the spiritual evolution of this series of eclipses, which I'm going to talk about, will play out. So it's going to reveal your level of codependency issues, your level of attachment, fear-based issues in relationships. This is a theme that's been happening, which is the big theme of the Aries Libra eclipses. And these series of eclipses, I think they are like 800 years. I'm studying the long series of these eclipses when they actually initiated. I think it was like 800 years ago. I don't know enough about to explain why that is, but basically we're on a human evolution. We're evolving as humanity. And with these Aries Libra, it's the me, we energy. So we're evolving spiritually in our relationship dynamics. So we're growing, we're developing a spiritual autonomy in relationships. We're developing our own selves. In other words, not to lose the self, the connection with the self and your higher power, and how we this is sort of something that happens with people. It's just the way it happens. It happens to everybody. When you're always in a relationship, you become relationship aligned. You align to relationships rather than, that's why everyone sees 11:11 right now, is to seek alignment with divine. Seek alignment with divine. Find your internal sense of security through your relationship with the divine. Find your cup, not through relationship, filling your cup, not through your relationship. This is a theme that's going very strong in this eclipse, which is what fills your cup. Are you using a relationship to make you feel safe and fulfilled? Are you living on the coattails of your spouse or your partner? Are you getting the identity of your identity, which is 7th house? I mean, if you have planets in your 7th house, you seek identity through your relationships. So if you have any Libra planets right now, you're going to be releasing that sort of egoistic motivation for a relationship. And so this Aries Libra eclipse cycle, which if we look at the last time it was here, which was 18 years ago, 2004 to 2006, a lot of us would have, it depends where you are on this journey, on this evolution of your soul, spiritual evolution, where you're finding spiritual connection rather than relational connections. It doesn't mean that relationships aren't supposed to be in our lives. It means that we're supposed to have relationships for the right reason, the divine reason, which is support. And towards the journey of your soul. And your divine relationship will align with that journey. But many people cannot wait. They don't have the patience for their divine relationships, and they're relationship aligned. So they seek relationship rather than divine connection. They seek relationship connection rather than divine connection. So these eclipses are going to rattle you up until you find divine connection. So where are you on that process? So that's how this lunar eclipse is going to make you healthier. And like you were saying, it's tension, it's difficulty in your relationships. It's a South Node lunar, because there's a South Node right there in the sign of Libra. So you're going to be seeing a lot of people releasing relationships that are kind of fake. I mean, another word for it is fake relationships that are based on the ego, which is what you think, not how you feel. Making it very simple. The Aries eclipse next that we're going to talk about, we were just coming up with the time, April 1st, I think we're going to talk about the next Aries eclipse, which is more of the crisis, challenging, difficult eclipse, which, we're going to talk about that next time. But this is sort of an eclipse that's making you healthier, making you sovereign, making you stand on your own 2 feet so you become a powerful person. Because if all of us are codependent on our relationships, we aren't stepping into our internal power, and we're giving our power away to our relationships. So we're of no use to the divine. We're no use to the evolution of the planet. So we have to develop inner sovereignty from our own center, not aligning to the relationship, but aligning to our divine self center. So ask yourself where you are on that journey. That's where you're going to be made to step it up. You're going to either release the fake relationship, could be very painful, fear-based attachment relationships, releasing, or like you say, if you are in your divine relationship, but you have a fear-based attachment to it, that's going to get rattled out of your system so that you become more connected. We're evolving.
So here's something that just came through as you were sharing all of that around a process to know how you're feeling versus what you're thinking. There's a number of different ways, but one, the process that just dropped in as you were talking, that somebody that's watching this needs to hear, is whenever you are doing something you love and you enjoy, whatever that could be. So at the beginning of this call, Madeline mentioned paddleboarding before we knew we were actually live. Like, let's just say that's, for an example, that's it for you. Like, you just love paddleboarding. So when you're out there on the water, you are in this state of contentment and ease.
In the moment.
That is the perfect time to ask yourself a question about something in your life that you're not sure about, because you're so in the flow and in the state of your heart, because you're content versus your head. So that's the time to stop, hands to your heart, and ask the question. That's only if you can stand on a paddleboard without using your hands to balance you, and put your hands on your heart, of course, in that example, and ask yourself the question and trust whatever answer comes. Because what I feel like a lot of people do, myself included, at times, not so much anymore, is that I don't trust the answers that are coming in, or I will think my mind is hijacking. But when you're in a state of ease and grace and contentment, and you really are asking your heart, you're going to get the answer from your heart and not your head. I may share more about this at a later time, but that, I feel like, was something that somebody needs to hear. Yeah.
So the more we connect with our heart and we make choices with our heart, the more truthful our choices are, really, the more in alignment you are. It's aligning with the heart. I mean, that's the message of Jesus, which was to listen to the heart. The intuitive center is your true guide, and it is connected to the universe. So anyway, one last thing I'm going to show on this picture before we go back. I've got a couple images I want to share with everybody. So I just wanted to show you that this was at 5 degrees. It's a South Node lunar eclipse. The sun is in Aries, but we're really looking at this degree point But what we want to look at too is it's in Libra, so it's ruled by Venus. So you do want to look at your Venus houses in your chart, whatever house rules by Venus. And we'll do that today. We'll look at the Venus houses on everybody. And then what we're looking at now, so if we look at Venus, it's in its exaltation, which is beautiful, which is a wonderful thing, but it is very close to Saturn. So we're going to talk about that. And you mentioned Saturn. So, so there's a very strong Saturn element to this eclipse. And I'll show you there's another reason why Saturn is very much a part of this story. And we're going to talk about that. And I'm going to show you another image that I have here, which I love this chart. I read a lot. So basically we have this chart, which somebody, and I don't know who it was, but aligned everything in astrology is, if you look in Vedic and you look at your dashas or you look at your nakshatras, there's always one of the planets rules. It's Venus, Jupiter, Mars, Rahu, Ketu, Sun, Moon, you know, Saturn, or if I haven't forgotten it. Anyway, so they place this on all the degree points of astrology. So it is a 5-degree Libra lunar eclipse. So if we go to Libra, there's Libra, it's at the 5-degree point. There's Leo, Scorpio. So here it is, it's Moon, Saturn. If you see very closely, this degree point is Saturn. That's a Saturn. Now, we look over here to Libra and we get the Two of Swords. A tarot card that associates with this degree point in Libra is the Two of Swords. So what does usually Saturn mean? It's blockage. Saturn is a blockage. Two of Swords is a blockage. So there's going to be a blockage. That's why we may not feel this eclipse exactly on this day. Something could be occurring for some on this day. If you have a planet that directly aspects this eclipse, you will definitely feel it, or a angular section of your chart. But on the whole, this is a repressed eclipse. It's basically, shall we say, restructuring who we are inside eternally about love and romance or relationship dynamics, partnerships too, can be business partnerships as well. And so there's a little bit of a Saturnian weight energy, blockage energy. It's Venus, it's a Venus eclipse, so it's really a romantic love relationship. So this eclipse is basically making sure that we've evolved for the next level, and Saturn is a taskmaster, making sure we've grown up, we've matured since the last 18-year, when it was 18 years ago. And by the way, we also had we had a very similar Libra eclipse in 2016. It was at 3 degrees Libra. So this is a part of that same pattern. You can look back in your life back then and see what was happening, what kind of shifts and changes. I had some major shifts and changes that were part of the evolution of where the eclipse hit me that first round, which caused my divorce. Then 10 years later, I sold my house. And now I'm at the end of that journey. So that journey was an 18-year journey that had sections in between that are bringing me now to where I am now. So which is completely independent, completely self-sufficient and independent, completely let go of my attachment to my ex-husband, who was my complete salvation. I mean, I made him my higher power, no doubt about it. So finding sovereignty, this eclipse, it's Libra. So it's like, where have we compromised ourselves for relationships? We're letting go of those kinds of situations. We're letting go of that energy in general of compromising for the relationship, or compromising or doing things or making choices to hold on to relationships that aren't necessarily, that are slightly codependent, or that are fear-based, or that are ego-based. And so those relationships are going to get rattled. Saturn is coming in. We're maturing. We're growing above this. Maturation. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of people growing up around relationships, the reason we're in relationships. So there's that Saturn component to it all. And so we may not see the benefits of this eclipse quite yet. And it may happen, and it may actually, we may see it. Let me go back. Let's take a look at when we will really notice. I mean, Saturn is like a slow moving planet. It'll start building, but as soon as that Venus is out of combustion with Saturn, and Saturn is even combustion with the sun still. I think the sun comes out of combustion with the sun on the 23rd of March, right before the eclipse, actually. Let's just take a look. Let me go to now. I just want to see, when do we see the sun come out of combustion? It's is it 15, 16, 17 degrees? But anyway, it's on the 23rd, I'm pretty sure. And so there's Venus and Saturn moving very quickly. Now, Venus is going to overtake Saturn here very soon. Am I on hours? Get out of that. Okay, let's go to days. So Venus is going to overtake Saturn here. There it is, overtaking Saturn. And then we got to get out of combustion to Saturn. So here we are now at 1328. We're at like 15 degrees. And I think, so we're really looking at that next eclipse is when we're going to start seeing a lot of stuff happening, because at that next eclipse, we have Venus out of combustion with Saturn. We have the sun out of combustion with Saturn. Saturn has a big component to this eclipse. So there's sort of like this eclipse, if I was to sort of summarize it, it's the sort of test. It's a test. If you're ready, to prepare you for the next eclipse, getting you emotionally, because Pisces is an emotional energy. The moon is an emotional internal energy. So we're emotionally becoming strong enough. We're becoming sovereign enough for the next big eclipse, which is where the big shifts and changes I think we're going to see happen. So let's go back to the eclipse. Another thing to talk about in this eclipse, which is why I think this eclipse on the whole is very nice eclipse. I do think we're going to feel this Pluto trining. So we have a Pluto trining. It's a wide degree, but there's a trine from Pluto. And that's really, really nice aspects. Let me just do one thing. Let me just take the ascendant out of this. Let me take these out, the angular points out. So we just see a clear picture here. See, there's the nose. Honestly, I think this eclipse is going to be pretty nice. I think we're going to see some very positive results, some truths coming out with that Pluto trining, emotional truths. Perhaps we really have grown and become very evolved in these areas in our lives. So we might see some truths, some honest declarations of love, or also Pluto is the finances, so abundant finances. I think this is a very stabilizing eclipse with that Saturn presence, maturing things held back till you're grown up, because it's going to be right. These are the right relationships coming in right now. Relationships that are starting now around this time are going to be divine partnerships, much more in alignment. If it's not, you're going to get rattled. It's going to be an earthquake. The foundation is going to be really rocked. Stabilizing our relationships. And Saturn, you see, Saturn is having a beautiful aspect in this eclipse, sextiling your, it's sextiling Jupiter, very abundant, potentially very abundant for many people, because Venus is also abundance and money and work and income. So on the whole, really good eclipse. But the next eclipse afterwards, which we could be feeling now, is more crisis tendency, has a little bit more of a crisis energy around it. Not for everybody, but so to get the most out of this eclipse, to do the most, shall we say, spiritual aligning, test your codependency issues, make sure you're not seeking relationship rather than your connection with the divine or self. Find your center self. The most important connection you can have on the planet or in your life is to be connected to your center. Where are we giving our power away to relationships? Find that, release it. What else? And basically healing, because this is the moon, sort of healing that deep down fear that puts us into these relationships that are not good for us or that are fear-based. So we're releasing that energy. So we're stepping into a sovereignty. We're finding a center. And it could happen through crisis. It could happen through the relationship ending where you've been giving your center to that relationship or yourself. So we pull into center. So we're very stable. We have a strong connection with the divine. And then we're ready, because the universe needs us, and especially women, because women are the worst at this. Women are Venus is women. The moon is women. Women are, not all women, men can too, but are technically the feminine energy is the receiving energy. So it's the psychic energy, it's the intuitive energy. So we're looking at us clearing our feminine energy, which is the energy that has been attached, which is not connected to the divine. So you're, in other words, the intuitive feminine is seeking, it attaches to a masculine or a male. And rather than, so then that means the divine is lost, or God has lost its connector, the person that it connects with, because it's turned to the masculine male. So now we basically, the feminine is becoming strong enough to turn to source and intuitive and get downloads, intuitive psychic information. We all have that capacity. Everybody has feminine energy within them. So we're clearing the feminine energy within us so that it has clearer receptivity to guidance, and we are more sovereign. So that's why it's so important to not have a person be our center of attachment, and to be more connected to the divine, because the divine loses our, shall we say, our friendship, or the person that was created to connect with the divine. If that makes sense. So hope that made sense.
One thing I want to add to that, because you were talking about relationship in terms of losing yourself within a relationship, but the relationship with the divine is the kind of the ultimate, if you will. And yes, and I also want to add to that part of that process is coming back to the divine within oneself, because you are the divine. I am the divine. The divine exists within every one of us. So, a little bit of a shameless plug for my upcoming book, We to Me, where that is a big piece of what I share with people in the book. And I'm going to put a link on underneath this video, so if people are interested in getting information on the book as it comes out, and some information that I'm sharing around relationships and understanding relationships, supporting yourself if you're looking to disentangle from a relationship. And there may be people that really are in need of some support in terms of separating themselves from a relationship that is not suited for them, but they don't know how to pull themselves out or come back to themselves. And it's a story that I share of my 25-year marriage and the disentanglement process, what that meant to me, to be able to come back to myself, to get to know me better, and then really be ready for a divine partner that I would not have been ready for before. And so for people who are like, well, how am I going to find love again?
Well,
that's part of it too. It's like, come back to yourself and it not be the focus. And then you will be surprised how you actually will line up with someone that really is truly destined to be in your world and in your life. So,
because if you make your main man God, I mean, if you do, let's say you do, then you don't really need, you don't feel the need for a relationship. If you're really in your center and you have a strong connection to spirit or your own spiritual evolution journey, you find that the relationship is not really needed for that. But what does happen, and what is right, is when the divine sends you your relationship not out of your power, not out of your action, not out of your doing, but you focus on your connection to your center self and landing on your own 2 feet. Then when it is ready, then you are sent your person as support for the mission you are here for. And it's a nice thing. It's wonderful, but we need to be healthy people to be able to shift the universe, to change the world. And right now we're really in a big paradigm shift. We're coming out of Kali Yuga. So we all have a lot of karma with relationships. We've gone through a lot of dark times where we were in this past lives I'm talking about, where we had a lot of karmic attachments to salvation through people, because we were going through some really Kali Yuga dark times. We're pulling out of that. So in order to fix the world and to bring the world into a better place, the universe is evolving us to become sovereign and empowered people so we can change the world. So, and we have the strength to do what is needed now. You're going to see with Chiron and Aries, I forgot to mention that Chiron is in Aries. We're becoming very, very powerful people. People in general are becoming much more, I notice it. People are finding their center. With Pluto in Capricorn, we went through a lot of karma clearing. So this is sort of like an eclipse to sort of make sure that bottle is cleared out. So
did you want to share anything more on this chart, or?
I don't think so. I think we really have it. There's Pluto in Aquarius. you know, beautiful energy for Pluto and Aquarius. I like it. Empowered people, power to the people, really the energy of Aquarius, trining the moon on this eclipse. There's my theme, healing us, Pluto in a Saturn, Aquarius is Saturn. So yeah, I think I don't want to repeat that message, but that's a whole totalitarian sort of vibe of this eclipse, like breaking through our fears. It's a trine. Pluto was always our deep fears. Trining the moon, emotional stability over our fears. I mean, this is great. We've evolved, we've grown. We're going to get the benefits of that. May not be right, though. We may not see it right now because of the Saturn. It's making sure we've matured for it. There you go.
Yeah, and there's like one other little bit of that, the relationship piece that I keep hearing so strongly too, is that without relationships, it would be very challenging for us to grow and evolve and to have experiences. So while it's always about the relationship that we have with ourselves and a higher power, the best way to find or not find, but to access that and to access the experience is through relationship.
Yeah.
So regardless of how a relationship turns out, whether you stay with the person, you don't, whether it's, you know, a loving disentanglement or an explosive departure from each other, it's always there for our support, for our evolution, for our growth, for both people. And, you know, there might be some karma completions that are happening, some that may continue to go on because both of the parties are not quite getting it, you know? So there's going to be all different variations of what this may look like for people and what it would feel like too.
Yeah, because you can use your relationships as a mirror to see where you are, how balanced you are in your energies, your own inner feminine and masculine energies. If you're, because usually if we're operating too much in our masculines, we're in fear. So, and that may start playing out in our relationship. So,
yeah, so many different ways. So let's dive into it and let's see what people are going to expect.
Shall we?
Yes, so we'll start with Aries, of course.
Okay. Let's go ahead. Let me just get the chart to that because I can't use that one. I have to just go.
And while you're doing that, I'm using a different flower deck this time, thanks to my friend Carol, who loaned me her deck. This is Flower Therapy by Doreen Virtue and Robert Reeves. It's actually a fairly it's a deck that's been around for a while. I don't think Doreen Virtue actually, I think we talked about this on another call where she doesn't really do the decks anymore. So I feel like this is kind of special because it's one that's hard to come by these days. So I feel like it felt very appropriate for the eclipses. So I'm going to use it this time. I may use it next time, but yeah, excited to see what the flowers have to say in support for each sign. Yep.
So big one for Aries. Are we jumping in? Are we starting now? You ready?
Yes, ma'am. Let's do it.
Yay. I love it. I love it when I don't pull cards. I'm always excited when I see what other people cards pull because I don't know. I just do.
Well, you know what? It's fun when you don't have to be the one to do it. Like somebody else is doing it and you get to reap the benefit, you know, especially when you're the one doing it all the time. So I'm happy I can support.
Yay. All right. All right. So Aries, you know, this is it. This is Aries is, I mean, you know, we could do the whole show about Aries right now because there's so much going on for Aries with these eclipses. So yeah, Aries are definitely, this might be a little tougher on Aries, but it's a big, Aries are very headstrong. They're the ram, you know, the ram is the head. They're very strong ego. So this is a time where they might reverse their ways a little and let go of, if Aries and you have planets in your Libra house, then you're very identified with your relationships. You're going to be releasing that. You're going to be letting go of an ego relationship big time. I mean, talk about the message. This is just releasing codependency, releasing image-based relationships, lustful-based relationships. I mean, this is the end of a cycle for Aries where they really went on an egoistic sort of rampage.
That's a perfect word for Aries. Yeah. Sorry to all the Aries out there who might be like, rampage. What?
Rampage.
But they can.
Aries energy. Yep.
Fire.
So they're really releasing that. and it might be painful. It might be very difficult. There's a lot of fear in that energy, you know, because the Aries head energy is afraid of the heart feeling energy. So it's probably one of the most aggressive energies at avoiding the heart and being in the head space. So they hit the dirt. It doesn't work, because we know the only thing that really ultimately works is heart centered. That's why Saturn is in the picture, because the only things that are going to work right now are heart centered. Venus is in exaltation in Pisces, which is spiritual love. So we're really seeing a stabilizing, a grounding, a Saturnian long-term energies for the stable relationship. So they have to really, they've gone through a lot of growth and ego death, big time. Ego death for Aries. Your turn.
Is there something more you wanted to say?
No, I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm happy about that, because I have a lot of Aries in my life. I love them.
well, okay, so it's interesting. 2 cards came flying out for Aries, and I was only going to share one, but at the end I felt like I needed to share both. So the first one is lavender, and the message is let go of anxiety, which, like you were describing, I mean, there's going to be some of that letting go of some of that energy, and then the completion around some aspects for some Aries. We have, what is this? This is the marigold, calendula, and it says you are healed. So it's almost like a nod to the completion of whatever it is that they've been working on, that they've been processing and working through. Wow. And there you go. I mean, and that actually feels so good for some Aries that I know. The Aries that I know that have been really putting in the soul work, you know, really looking at their shadows, really looking at themselves in terms of relationships, really doing their darndest to make different choices and show up differently. And
it's so crazy about that card. It's really blowing my mind, because this morning I did a reading for an Aries person. I kept getting these healing cards out, like the healing card came flying out. I just pulled up a oracle deck for fun, and this healing card came out flying out on the floor, and I was just like, whoa. Talk about the moon, Libra, Aries, 7th house, you know, for Aries. So
it's a big one.
It's getting hot here.
I know.
All right, so we ready for Taurus?
It's the energy, Madeline. It's the energy.
I'm getting hyped up with this Aries.
Okay, Taurus, let's go.
Taurus,
let's do it.
You guys are going to have this happening in your 6th house. So you're going to be letting go of relationships. Now, usually Libra in the 6th house, an eclipse in your 6th house, I would say that it's possible that you're letting go of toxic situations involved in relationships that cause toxicity in your life or cause emotional upset in your life. Because like I do really see in mostly my readings that emotional situations cause people to get sick. It's quite clear. It's in astrology. You can see it. So I would say for Taurans, they're releasing some sort of emotional a codependency dynamic in relationships that causes them sickness and stress and upset, and they're releasing some sort of fear control around relationships, and letting go of how letting go of stressing out about relationships. Let's put it that way. Letting go of the stress, just kind of giving up, like stop trying to control it or something like that, and just let it be, and not have emotional reactions to everything all the time.
Yeah, I feel like that's so true. I feel like that's so true. And with the 6th house too, it could be your relationship with your health, you know, kind of like baseline. Yeah. And the flower that came through was the orchid. And the message is reach for the stars. Now, the way I receive this is that we're talking about the moon, but we're talking about the planets, the stars, the cosmos, and orchids to me are one of the most challenging plants to keep alive. I have such a hard time with them. It's like, I don't have them in the right light. Or maybe I water them too much because I feel like they need more water, or they don't have the right food. And I feel like a lot of times with ourselves, we can get caught up in that same quandary of not knowing what to do, how to support ourselves, what to eat, how much, what things are good for us, what things are not. And I feel like this is reminding us to not be so dependent on other people to tell us, like giving our power away to a doctor or some sort of a philosophy. It's have some baseline information from someone who's a perceived authority, but then also check in with yourself. I mean, you can do muscle testing for those who are familiar with muscle testing, and you can find out what is the best path for me. Start to have a food diary or a food journal. Pay attention to how your body feels right after you eat and 3 days after, because oftentimes with sensitivities, you don't know until 3 days later. So you're attributing the problem to something you ate maybe that day or the day before, when really it's the gluten you had 2 days before that.
Mhm.
So there's different things that we can do. And so I don't know, this is the orchid to me is just a reminder to, it might be tricky, but there are ways around it, and don't give your power to another authority. You know, it's worth it, because orchids are so beautiful. Like whenever I
Mhm.
see them, I feel like, oh, they're just so nice.
I had a thought
Great. Like,
too. Yeah. And they're
yeah.
very sensitive, like you say, it's difficult. You have to keep their conditions really perfect for them to thrive. So in a way, it's
Hmm.
sort of saying like taurins possibly don't take care of themselves. In other words, they let their health go, or they don't take fully good care of themselves because they're emotionally caught up in some sort of relationship thing. And so they sort of neglect the self and their health, maybe.
That's possible. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Something to consider. Something to consider.
All right.
Okay.
Now
Gemini.
going to after Taurus, we have Gemini.
Gemini. Yep.
Fifth house. Wow. Okay. So a lot of Geminis are going to be ending relationships, friendships that are fake friends, fake relationships that are not part of your new destiny, your journey, not really soul aligned, and discovering really your true friends, walking a path. I do know a Gemini in England that I'm friends with who is definitely going through this. And Aries rising. So he's got Libra in his 7th house. So he's dropping relationships. A lot of people I know are, so it's not a crazy thing. So it's actually really nice for Gemini in a sense, because to have an eclipse in your 5th house is really letting go of friends that aren't fun and kind of there's a return to joy, a return to fun, letting go, playing, releasing serious situations with that Saturn there. So there's a dichotomy, because Saturn is serious. Saturn is serious that you're in the right relationships that give you joy and fun. So Gemini are evolving to align relationships that are more naturally aligning, that align with joy. Geminis are very playful energy. They're very playful people. They really want more. They are here to grow up to be children in a way, and they want relationships that are fun and emanate the sun, the solar energy, which is the 5th house. So they want to be they're evolving into really more fun relationships that align with the Gemini sensitivity, which is playful. Mercury. See what you get.
So this card, the message isn't necessarily playful, but the flower looks kind of playful to me.
Yeah.
The begonia, and the message is patience. So there might be a situation or something happening. We have Saturn involved. There might be some patience involved in what Geminis have to navigate or wade through. And then they have this flower, the protea, which I'm not familiar with, but looks rather interesting. And this is a sign from heaven. So it's messages from your loved ones, maybe ancestors. So, this would fit better if it was a 4th house, but for whatever reason, some Gemini out there, I feel like needs this message that it's a sign for you. You may take however you want. What I like about it is you have it's like this, this reminds me almost of a fence, like boundaries, like creating a boundary. And then finding safety in the center, like kind of coming into your own place and having a boundary around you. Gemini too, it's a little bit of like that dual-sidedness of Gemini. This is a little You know, the inside looks a little like fine, and the outside it looks a little thicker. Yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts, Madeline? Anything coming through
Well,
for you?
yeah, I just want to look at something. I forgot I was going to do this. I'm looking at your Venus houses. The 12th house is Venus and 5th house. And that flower, that picture kind of looks like the sun, but with a focus, like all the petals are focused. And that 5th house is the sun house. So it's almost like there's a solar focus wherever these eclipses are. By the way, wherever the nodes are, there is a focus. You can literally just go through everybody's chart and just look at where the nodes are and go, this is what you're focusing on for the year. And they're going, that's so true. Anyway, so the Gemini with that, and Mercury's going to go retrograde for the next eclipse too, but they're ruling planets. So there's a focus to be serious, to choose the right things, to make the right choices. Mercury's choices, to be aligned, to think, because Mercury is so, like you say, they don't know where to make their choices. They're very mutable. And again, we're looking at the heart center. So be focused for Gemini. Focus on the heart, that sun, that 5th house. Go put your energy into relationships that feel very heart centered. All right.
Nice. Okay.
Fun.
Cancer.
Okay. Cancer. Woohoo. Okay, so we have the South Node in your 4th house, and of course I can talk a lot about this. I'm going through it. Cancer, the moon there, emotional, very emotional. Cancers are emotional anyway, and you're letting go of mothers, of huge. I'm letting go of my whole family life. My mother passed away in September, and I unpacked my dad's house, folded things away, we put things in boxes, sent them to thrift stores, got rid of all my mother's stuff, and it's just my dad now. And it's just that whole chapter of life, my heritage, my family, my grandmother aligned to my mother. I mean, that whole life is all at the thrift store now.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
So weird. It's such a bizarre, it's a whole new chapter really for many people in these eclipses. We really are beginning this new 30-year cycle, most likely. It may not have begun now, it may have begun a while back, but we really are we're really leaving an old, everybody is, we're leaving, we're saying goodbye to a karmic past, and we're stepping into a new future, a new chapter. So it just felt so bizarre. So I'm really releasing my family of origin. I mean, really, I've released helicopter parenting my kids. Cancers are going to release helicoptering or they're going to release some form of parenting that they do. They're going to release some sort of relationship with mother, family, heritage. I see is your what do we call it? Ancestry, some sort of ancestral pattern. A lot of women have been ancestrally programmed that our survival was based on having a man, and it comes from mother. Comes from, you got to be perfect, you got to look beautiful, you got to all this stuff, hold on to the man, that's the most important thing. So there's some sort of ancestral wounding going on around relationships stemming through the mother lineage. That is fear-based attachment to the masculine, which is being healed, pulled away, and then also sort of unhealthy relationships with the mother is pulling away. We're pulling away from dependency energies of family, and we're really stepping into a whole new paradigm around family. You're letting go of one family, about to initiate a new one. I know in my chart, that's my destiny. I have a 29-degree Sagittarius sun, and I have a 0-degree Cancer ascendant. So what am I here to do? I'm here to stop traveling. I've traveled my whole life. I was a daughter of a diplomat. I have my past life was a traveler. I was the first female in China. I go through all my past life through my chart, and my great grandmother was who I was. Anyway, releasing traveling, starting my new home, starting a new home. So Cancers are releasing an old family, an old living situation, an old home, developing a new one, developing a new family. Again, soul aligned, not one that your ego tried to make happen, but one that divine or that your soul had intended and planned for you. I hope that was clear.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. So 2 cards again. These cards are really active today, and Cancer were kind of sticky. It was a little they were having a little bit of trouble.
I get it.
Like, okay, we got to shake this ancestral stuff off, and it's there. So it's I didn't know this was an actual flower called the bleeding heart, and it's emotional.
The what heart? Say that again.
Bleeding heart.
Whoa.
Emotional healing.
That's crazy. It's the
I'm
shape
going
of
to read,
heart.
I'm going to read. Yeah. And I know, right? I didn't know this was an actual flower. I thought it was just a staying. So the message is it's safe for you to let go of old emotional pain. By doing so, you allow your heart to mend.
Wow, that's powerful. This is a really healing, it's a more healing eclipse than I thought. This is a beautiful song playing too. Can you hear this song?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm at my friend's house and he's got his music playing and I don't know how to turn it off. So it's I'm
That's
listening
funny.
to music. Anyway, go ahead.
So the second card is bromeliad. Bromeliad. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. And it says be positive.
Whoa.
And this card, it says you can shape your experience. So be sure to focus on the positive. And I would say it's not just the positive. Like this card is like, to me, or this flower is kind of saying, screw all the nonsense from the past. Don't F with me now. I'm ready to make some change.
Oh, I love
Like,
it.
let's go. I have what I need. You know, I feel like that is such a big thing for
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for cancer, but cancer, like you were saying earlier, well, you were saying the moon and Venus are women, but I feel like cancer is so connected to women as well.
And the eclipses because they're
Ruled by,
ruled by the moon. So they're really going to feel this eclipse a lot. I
yeah,
would suspect there's going to be tears, but it could be good tears, a romantic. I should add that there's, that those two pictures was heartbreak and busting through the heartbreak. So I think a lot of cancers are going to sort of have healed the broken heart. Yeah, and they're
yeah.
busting through the sun, the solar light is busting through that pain of their hearts. And that's very third party. If you look at that, a lot of cancers I know have been, their true mates have been involved with other people. So that's third party pain busting through. So they've had to really work through. Cancers are probably the most codependent sign, relationship centric of all people. Capricorn over their seventh. So they've really healed the big codependent thing. That's fabulous.
Wonderful. All right, let's mosey on over to Leo and see
All right,
what's
Leo.
shaking for them.
Let's take a look at Leo here. Leo is happening. So their third house. So they're going to be letting go of some sort of communication. I would say they're letting go of not communicating a truth in their relationship so that they don't lose this. So in other words, to stop distorting their truth, so it's not communicating what's real for them, to not show up authentically in relationships, and they're letting go. And that could show up in the form of an outburst in the eclipse, in some sort of communication. That with that Pluto trining this eclipse, we've got truths coming out. There's some sort of explosion of a truth coming out. And it could be that you tell someone your true feelings. But with the Libra over their third house, I would say that on the whole, Leo their tendency would be to communicate in a diplomatic way that is slightly manipulative or not honest to people because they want to keep things pretty up and peppy. So they may always, alter the truth a little bit. Well, in this eclipse, in their relationships, the truth is going to come out, and it's possible that they reveal their heart space, that Leo heart. They might really reveal it in this eclipse. And I know a Leo who I would like to see do that to somebody. So yes, so we do have a releasing of dishonest, we could just say fake way of being in a relationship, acting fake or being fake in relationships, or not communicating, or being afraid that if they communicate the wrong thing, the relationship goes away. And now they're in a relationship where they're going to be in relationships where they can communicate their truth and the relationship does not go away.
So Leo, you've got the hibiscus and the message is unity. And this card, when you look at it, it feels very fiery. And then you've got this little bit here that's like a yellow and orange and red, almost like a sunburst, like a flash, or a flare. And the message here is you're spiritually connected to everyone through God. I'm going to say universe, creator, source, whatever fits for you. Yeah. Use the sacred bond to heal your family, friends, and yourself. And as a Leo myself, I feel like this is so true. This is somewhat we were talking about before. It's like coming back into that divine within yourself in order to then share who you are fully with others, which would be maybe communicating a truth about your feelings. And in doing that, that might heal a relationship, because the person may be able to feel you're out of alignment or maybe out of integrity. And then when you speak to that elephant in the room, perhaps there's a healing that can take place. So
I love that. You know, I really do love that for Leo. And you know what else? That really does look like someone's heart bursting out, like that little thing, like boom, the heart bursting out, that center coming.
yeah.
And would you mind reading that again? What is it? What did it say about the people around you? Because that's third house. It sounds very third house, which is like people that are around you, siblings, friends. So maybe it's just everybody around them. Go ahead.
Yeah. Use the sacred bond to heal your family, friends, and yourself.
That's third house.
Yeah.
Interesting. Siblings, people that are around you. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say Leo are going to transform and let go of the bullshit. I mean, you know, what else? How else can I put that?
Let's do it. No problem. Easy peasy.
Yeah.
All right. Virgo.
Virgo. Okay. Oh, Libra over your second house. So I would say, well, you know, the second house is income, possessions, money, letting go of possessions, income, a certain way of earning money. I had an eclipse in my second house, and that's when I became an astrologer, and I let go of my alimony completely disappeared, and which was fine. I was scared, and it can be scary to have an eclipse in the second house, but if you have an eclipse in your second house, that's because there's something better for you on the other side of that. And so there's sort of a release of one source of income, and then a new one begins. And then with the theme of relationships, again, you're letting go of relationships that are, I mean, let's take a think on that. The second house, letting go. Well, you're going to be letting go of stuff. You might be decluttering a lot of things in your home. And then creating space for a new relationship. And second house can be, it's a Venus house. It can, again, be relationships. So trying to think of how that would fit for Virgo. Let me think about it. You're releasing maybe relationships that you had to work for, you had to work hard on, that were too much of an effort. You know, that you're trying, that are not spiritual, really, again. Same message, but you are going to be letting go of attachments to possessions and things that are cluttering your life that you think are valuable. You might sell things, but you're clearing up things that aren't valuable in your life, or possessions that are just sort of like holding old energy. Remember, we're really clearing anything that possessions and things that we have in our home hold energy. So we're stepping into a new energy field right now, which is much more spiritual, you could say. We're evolving to becoming more aligned spiritually. So you're releasing things, letting go of stuff that you possess that are holding energy that you're fear-based attached to because you think it's financially for your benefit. Trying to think of how that relates.
Where's Venus? Where's Venus for Virgos?
Seventh house. They've got Saturn in their seventh house, so they're really restructuring their relationships. Again, it's going to be blocked slightly during this eclipse, the relationship, and then their Venus houses are their ninth house. So they may be, you know, their ninth and their second, and the ninth house has Jupiter there. There's a big Uranian, just, you know, not to add to the story, but we've got another big part of the story, which is the Uranus Jupiter conjunction in a Venus sign as well. So, you know, and you know, this Saturn is trining Jupiter during this eclipse. So I would say that it's possible you're letting go of relationships that you have some sort of possessiveness around, you know, like a possessive energy around. And now you're opening up your mind because your Venus, again, we're having minds opening with that ninth house, Uranus, Jupiter thing. A lot of transformation happening in the Leo belief, spiritual mind area. And then, I'm sorry, for Virgo. And then that second house, you're letting go of jobs, making money in ways that are codependent. And I have a feeling that when you let go of these jobs, you're aligning more to your spiritual mission with your partner, with your true person. So it's possible like Virgos are involved in work projects or money making or objects, or letting go of something that's preventing them from being in a situation that aligns them more with their soul contract, which puts them
Okay.
in union with their mate.
You know, it's interesting because the reason I asked you about Venus was because I was attempting to sort where this card fits in and this flower, because it didn't seem to make sense.
All
And I
right.
feel like this is actually a remedy for this process that Virgos might be going through in terms of relationships and possessions. You know, if you think about kind of the key things people want to know about, you know, kind of the material world and their emotional world. Those are two big ones. And this is the bird of paradise. And this message, it says, communicate with your angels.
Hmm.
And so it feels like in order for Virgos to, you know, really lean into letting go of some part of their life, those things that we tend to clutch onto, relationships and material goods being two of the big ones, you know, they may need some support. They may need some help. And so, you know, Bird of Paradise is reminding them they have these almost look like little lifelines that can help, a little place you can hold on to, something that you can connect to. I don't know. It just feels like they may not know that they have so much support that's available to them, and to be able to simply ask for the help when and if they need it. So,
Yeah, you know what comes to mind is like, let's say a Virgo had a relationship with someone and they hold on to, they've got stuff in their house, like maybe a ring from that person. So they now sell it, they release it. They're holding
yeah,
attachment through possessions and they release it.
yeah,
And that's sort of a liberating energy of that flower to me.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Beautiful.
Lovely.
Beautiful.
We're having fun. What did I do with my chart? Here it is. Okay, now we're going to go to
Libra.
Libra. Holy Manoli, Libra. You've got the moon in your first house. You've got you got the south node there. So, you know, and you've got Aries. You're going to have a big eclipse in your seventh house coming up. Let me just see what your other Venus house is, just so I know. You have your other Venus house is, oh, 8th, holy manoli. Yeah. So big transformation, of course. Big, you know, you've got Pluto trining your house as well, the moon there, and maybe your ascendant, depending on what degree your ascendant's at. But we're really seeing a positive shift for Libras into a more balanced. Remember, these are we're learning about balancing between we and me. So Libra, who are always so designed to be in connection, and designed to seek connection, where they although Cancers are the most codependent of all the relationships, I mean, people signs, they tend to be super duper attached. Libra are going to be connecting to sort of randomly anybody. I mean, anybody that's going to get along with them for a little while, they'll go with it. It's like they seek connection so strongly, and so then they don't really follow heart. Libra's an air sign, so they're really letting go of fake relationships, fake versions of themselves, their own identity, the fake identity that they've been carrying on, the fake angle that they use to constantly get it. They're like waking up to a realization that just doesn't work. That journey they've been on now since that last series of eclipses, if you've been alive that long, you're discovering that your identity is connected to relationships for Libra. And so they have to let go, and they have to align with a soul-based connected relationship that is not a reflection of their identity, but they're going to discover something really wonderful in this, because Libras are very identified with their relationships. Their public identity is very much connected to who they're in a relationship with. They do not like to be in relationships with people that do not, shall we say, support their idea of what their public identity is, their public. So
I can't wait to show this card.
okay,
Like,
good. Yeah.
Literally giddy over here.
Oh, excited. So yeah, so Libra like realize that their true divine partner does radiate positivity of their identity, and it's sort of like, oh my gosh, I wasn't supposed to connect from this, I was supposed to connect from this, and this then followed and aligned, and it is working out. It's just a big mind shift from head to heart for relationships for Libra, and not on identity. So it could be you go through a challenging release of a relationship now, or like we said earlier, you pull out, you discover, you stop trying to control the relationship so that it's more natural, and you break through some sort of toxicity connected in the relationship, so it becomes pure, and you allow the truth of who your relationship is or who the person is show. It may not be the identity you want, but then you sort of mature to accept it, something like that. All right.
Well, this card is pretty much the bold, italic, highlighted exclamation point to this entire message for Libra.
Great. Can't wait.
Become the true you.
Ooh, whoa.
Show the world who you really are and what you were born to do. And it's
Bingo.
the Warata flower. And I mean, it's
I couldn't
with
say,
this
you
too,
said it
it's,
way better. I couldn't find those words. Those are exact summary.
yeah, it's incredible. Like as you were talking, I'm like, oh my gosh, this card pretty much sums that up. And you know, even with the, you know, all of the petals, all these different petals, it's almost like all the relationships that Libras have to try on and test out and feel like they have to be a part of, when they don't. It's like they are all of that and more, and they can shine brightly, and they have the power, and they don't need all of that. I mean, yes, to a certain extent, to evolve and grow and see themselves, but just a beautiful message of just be yourself, be the true you. You're lovable just as you are.
That is cool. And
Yeah.
it's almost like, yes, there's lots of wonderful people on this planet to have connections with, you know, and it's like, which one do you choose? You know, there's so many great.
That's true. Which one?
So maybe that's what they're letting go of. They're letting go of that. All the other ones, they're letting go of that, and they're finding the one, you know, the centered, divinely intended.
Beautiful.
Lovely,
All right.
lovely. Okay, back
Scorpio.
now. Scorpio. Let's get to you guys. Libra in your 12th. Wow, talk about karma. This is such a karmic energy for Scorpio. So this is past life trauma attachment to relationship. Releasing trauma-based relationships, big time for Scorpio. Trauma attachments. Scorpios have a tendency to be sort of crisis, this 8th house energy, you know, crisis, kind of deep, very deep, transformative. I'm seeing 111 where I am. So we're getting this deep. Oh, 111. Oops, that's Dan's phone. I just dropped it. Let me drop this thing. Anyway. So they're letting go of trying to find a karmic trauma, trying to resolve and heal karmic trauma through repeating the trauma in relationships. So so Scorpio are re-experiencing abandonment in relationships until they see that the abandonment isn't the source of abandonment. The source of abandonment is that they abandon themselves. So, and the abandonment of the self is what the true violation is, where you're playing out your karma in the relationship, because you have a trauma, and the trauma created separation. So you're trying to fix that experience of separation in this eclipse, and that feeling of separation, and so you're always trauma-based relationships, because that's the vibration you're at. So you're releasing, you're becoming aware that abandonment, those relationships that are constantly abandoning you are a reflection of how you abandon yourself. And now you realize that on a relationship that you recently experienced abandonment, was you discover you're okay. Like, it was just karma. I'm actually didn't need that relationship. I'm okay. But there would have been a fear-based initiation towards relationships. I know a Scorpio who gets into quite a few relationships because she always wants somewhere to live, you know. So there's sort of a release of that motivation, of that trauma-based motivation for relationships.
Interesting. And I feel like this is a feel good flower and message for Scorpios who have been dealing with these karmic cycles and
Mhm.
patterns that relate to traumas. It's your wishes are coming true, says the
Beautiful.
sweet pea. And it's such a sweet little flower. And then the additional message is what your heart has been longing for is getting closer each day. And maybe it does relate to them finding true love that's actually true love and
Mhm.
not karma based playing out cycles and patterns. I
Yes,
think this is love when it's not.
right. Because that Libra Scorpio, they're right next to each other. It's pretty close. So you get this fear, you get this constant trauma playing out in relationship that that this eclipse will heal and help heal that. And again, what you discover more of a relationship with yourself and the 12th house is the unseen, the subconscious. So there's a connection, there's a release of the subconscious, something in the subconscious that's driving you to have toxicity in your relationships. Or if it's not a relationship, it's a release of the reaction that you have in your current relationship that's based in trauma. So in other words, if you're in a good connection in your true mate relationship and your Scorpio, you're releasing a trauma-based reaction to your mate. Instead of always feeling like they're abandoning you on some level, you're like, wait a minute, no. It's reflecting how I abandoned my mind space to that person.
Yeah.
A range of intensity in that department, depending on your evolution of your soul and where you are as a Scorpio, how you've managed your trauma, deep issues.
I can feel some Scorpios out there who are not liking that part of it.
Yeah.
I can feel that.
I know,
But I'm going to say as a Scorpio.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So what were you going to say, Madeline?
Well, just that it's you can't be Scorpio without having some sort of trauma in your psyche field. I mean, you had it's more recent in your past life, so you're going to be playing it out. We play out our fears, but in these eclipses, we're going to we're really evolving past one big major fear. So,
So I guess the one little asterisk to this that I'd like to add that I can relate to being a Scorpio ascendant myself is know that this time period is actually really supportive of healing taking place on a across space and time level.
yeah.
And that no matter what comes up for you or how it feels or the ick factor that might be around it, that there's a really beautiful expression on the other side.
Yeah. And you do have your other Venus house as the 7th house is Taurus in your 7th. So, this is very much about partnerships, committed partnerships, marriages. So these are the sorts of relationships that are very, these are committed type relationships that are based. So in other words, you're committing to relationships that are trauma based that don't work. And I have a Scorpio friend that does that. Not everybody, not all Scorpios.
Right.
But that's a big part of the story for some.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Okay. Sagittarius.
Oh, we did. Did we pull a card on Scorpio?
Yeah, we just did. The wishes come true.
Oh yeah. Okay, good. So you know what? So one quick thing on that, you can feel the levity of that card, how light. So it's almost like they're letting go of lower density trauma issues that was really heavy and tense, and you know what I mean? That Scorpio heaviness. And
it's almost like
yeah, release.
Yeah.
That's the South Node there. All right. Okay. So now Sagittarii, ruled by Jupiter. And Jupiter is being sextiled by this eclipse. So I think, and Pluto is trining the eclipse. Good money for Sagittarius. Good energy. Great for Sagittarians. Your other Venus house is the 6th. Again, nice for them. A release of some sort of stress, maybe a nice health boost for Sagittarians. The moon being this eclipse hitting your 11th house. Fabulous. Sagittarians are releasing, letting go of fake, shall we say, groups of people or letting go of a maybe way of doing social media that wasn't working, letting go of old tribe groups, but then a new one coming in. What else? What else? Let me think of that. I would say releasing, also letting go of worrying about what people think of you on social media, worrying about what your true love thinks about you, how you present yourself on social media. You're trying to control it because your person or who you love might criticize you, or because the 11th house is all about what we are that's odd and different, how we let ourselves shine in the world as our authentic selves. And so I would say with Libra there, Sagittarians are a little bit self-conscious around relationships, how they present themselves on social media and how people will think of them, or how their relationships or partnerships are very identified. I know my son is Sagittarius. I have a little bit of that myself. So Sagittarians are letting go of that attachment to fake groups and altering their identity so that it impresses people, or that it's the right thing that they think, and releasing and being more authentic and letting the real people stay. The real people will stay. And I'm seeing that for my son. The real ones stay. So you're letting go, you're stopping pretzeling ourselves in general. We're stopping trying to fit in some sort of shape that makes the relationship work. And so for Sagittarians, their drop, it's everybody. It's like, take me as I am or leave me. And I can't do it anymore. I'm not perfect. This is who I am.
Well, this flower pretty much sums that up.
Oh, it does?
The white rose, purification. And the message is, by purifying your life of negative people, places, and experiences, you attain true peace. So let me see if I can tip it. So basically, you were saying, you're not perfect. And it's like, you don't have to be, but you're a pure, radiant, beautiful being. And it doesn't matter what other people think of you, just show up as you. I don't know. It's like, I think it's because it's so, let's see. There you go. So you can see all the facets of the, all of the petals, and there's so much more to see.
It's so much in the light, that piece too. It's so sort of like coming out and being in the light about it, and not letting your light shine on social media rather than your fears or your self-consciousness, because energetically people can sense that.
Yeah, they can.
They could. Sagittarians are probably going to do very well in their social media this cycle or whatever in the next month or so. There's going to be an upgrade, and I'm seeing that for myself.
All right.
For sure. Me, I don't know. We'll see.
I was going to say, are you going to be the guinea pig on that and test it out?
Maybe I suddenly figure it out, like who I am on social media. I keep at it though.
All right. Capricorn. All right. I'm very excited to hear about Capricorn. What's going on with them?
Capricorn.
Especially 10th house. Woo!
So you're going to be letting go of ways of earning money that are not intuitively centered to your guidance, to your higher calling, your mission, your soul situation. Now, somewhere else in your chart, it's possible you become into union with a divine mate, where you go into soul contract, you share career goals or destinations or projects. Capricorn with Libra over with the South Node over your 11th house. I mean, your 10th house. Capricorns are really hard workers. You're maybe letting go. Now, Libra over it's wherever we have Libra, we tend to be a little fake. So I happen to know a Capricorn rising who can be that way. With career, they because they want career so much, Capricorn. They want stability in their careers. They're very focused on work, that they will take on fake jobs. They will go karmic job positions. They will be fake to get that job. They will lie to get the job. They will, alter their resume to make it seem like they should get that job. So it's not going to work out in these energies. So you're letting that go. You're realizing you got to do what's real. You've got to step into the career that's right. It's probably Capricorn can be kind of controlling, so they probably don't have any control over this. And so they're sort of letting go something in the career, some aspect to their career that is fake, that's not authentic. Maybe they let go of trying. Maybe they find the real, because of the Aries eclipse here. Where's that Aries for you guys? It's going to be in the 4th house, right? For Aries, it's in your 4th house. You might be moving in that next eclipse, so you have to let go of a job. You have to quit a job, or you get fired. You can get fired on these energies, but remember, it's for your highest good. Remember, flow, like you were saying at the beginning, just flow with the changes here. They're for your highest good. You're redirected. So there's an authentic, now a relationship also is status. You could get divorced because the 10th house can be status. So you could end a relationship that was fake, that you may have gotten into because it got you good jobs. You never know. People do that.
Yeah.
So
Well,
letting
and
go.
where's Venus? Where's Venus for them?
Yeah, let's take a look at Venus for them. The Pisces is in your third.
Okay.
Communication, websites, learning something new, new groups of friends around you, new people. Most Capricorn might be moving with that Aries eclipse coming in, a new situation, living situations. I can think of a Capricorn rising that is, he's sharing a house with some people, but he's the main person on the lease, but he may get to house all to himself now because he was talking about wanting it to himself. So it's possible the other people move out and he has the house all to himself, but you're becoming more authentic in your career and you're aligning with a more, shall we say, divine intended destiny involving relationships, you know, maybe you meet a person that is a relationship through your work house and you get some kind of a promotion, new job, you let go of an old job, you meet a new relationship in a new job. A lot of all that.
So there's, I don't know. I'm thinking of several Capricorns, two very near and dear to my heart, whom both are successful in their careers, but not to the level where they'd like to be. And then they each have these external things that are that create this need for more money creation. And then there's a level of passion around certain areas, some that are connected to career, some that are not.
Mm-hmm.
And so what really struck me about the red rose for Capricorn, the red rose, roses in general, but the red rose in particular, is the highest vibrational flower.
Wow.
So for them, it's, and one of the messages is about connecting to your passion and letting go of the past. So I feel like for the Capricorns that I'm thinking of, there are some old stories, some things from the past, known and unknown, that really need to be let go of in order for them to rise to the occasion when it comes to their career, when it comes to their status. You know, they have, you know, they're all about that. I mean, they're 10th house already. There are things that they're doing, things from the past that if they let go with love, open their heart to the possibilities that may not look the way they think they're meant to look, they might be surprised at the outcome. But it requires some pausing and it requires taking some of the armor off. And that is a tough thing when you've been burned to do.
I think about the last series of eclipses because my ex-husband was Capricorn. And so we got divorced during this period. So he let go. I'm Cancer. So I had Libra with my fourth house. So I moved, or he moved out. And then there was so that would have hit Libra in his 10th house. So at that time, he probably really did let go of a certain aspect of his career, because when he moved out, he didn't have the studio anymore. So there was some sort of transition in his career during that period too. So these eclipses and he was really out of balance. One of the reasons we got divorced was that his focus was so much the career, being Capricorn. So there's some there's some balance between working and relationships that Capricorn are kind of coming into. Like they have to release the relationship, the career more to balance out their relationships. Because that's what these eclipses are about, balancing more into the relationship, or less. Like Cancer are too into the relationships. Capricorn may not be at all into their work. So there's some sort of finding a balance in the relationship where it's healthy balance between your work and the relationship.
Yeah. Well, and I could say even in my marriage, you know, he's a Capricorn and his career and work focus is so laser pointed.
Yeah.
And, you know, granted, I'm a fairly independent Leo, and so that's okay most of the time, but there are times where it's like, hello, there needs to be some focus here on this relationship, or it doesn't work. I mean, it requires some nurturing. It's like a plant or a flower, you know, it does require some some
Yeah.
care. And he and I both are Taurus moon. So we are able to,
Yeah.
to connect in that way, and we enjoy some of the material pleasures, and to love the luxuriousness of, tactile things, like, laying in bed and cuddling and,
Spend
the
time.
beach. Yeah, like being able to do those things, but it does require some concerted effort on both of our parts. And I feel like I've got to be more of like, okay, hello, let's make that time.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we do that.
Yeah. So you might be letting go of focusing so much on work so that you can enhance, or shall we say, evolve your relationship more, bond with your relationship more.
Or maybe noticing or looking back at the past and realizing all the time that was focused on work. And even though there might have been a really valid reason, like you're the main breadwinner, and so you needed to really put the nose to the grindstone to take care of the family, but there were aspects of the relationship that fell by the wayside. And there's two people in that equation. So yes, maybe your partner wasn't stepping up the way you wanted, but if that partner was a dude, the likelihood that he's even aware is pretty low. No offense, guys.
Right. Well, like if I think about it, like if you're Capricorn rising, you're going to be a very hard worker, Capricorn sun, moon, or rising. You're going to be very focused on your work. You're going to be career minded. So when you work really, really hard. And then when you come home, you're wiped out. So your relationship,
Yes.
they don't have you either way. When you're home, they don't have you because you're flat out. And, so there's some balance happening here for Capricorn, for sure.
I hope so.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that. Okay. So Aquarius.
Well, you guys have Pluto, and this eclipse is trining Pluto in your first house. So something very good financially can open up here for Aquarius. Very happy for you guys. And then we've got this eclipse hitting in your ninth house. So you're letting go of some sort of, I'm going to say with Libra over your ninth house, there's some sort of belief you have around relationships. It's going to be rigid, slightly rigid opinion about how your relationships are supposed to be and what the rules are, and Saturnian ruled you are, Aquarius, Capricorn, and Vedic. So you're going to be very Saturnian. So you've got this sort of, shall we say, rules around relationships. And so I'm going to say that all that goes out the window. You're going to let go of a whole entire old belief system about relationships that divide you from the truth, because the truth is, in these eclipses, you're going to be, fake situations are going to go away and the true situations are going to flourish. So if you have a situation where you're, in other words, whatever is true is going to grow beyond your opinion, no matter what you think. Aquarius, you can't control things because they're Saturn ruled. So you're going to have to realize that there is a divine destiny and story in your relationship line that's going to clash with what you think, your rigid thinking. Ninth house can be very rigid. Libra over the ninth house, very rigid thinking about balancing relationships and your belief in relationships. Like you have this belief system about who you're supposed to be in a relationship, and your belief system may be based in fear. It may have a root codependency, a root, how do I control it to make it be this way? The thing about relationships, and this is a big journey in this Aries Libra eclipse, is we cannot control it. I'm telling you, if I could have made that marriage work, I did everything I could. It won't work. And the same with the other way around. If it is your divine partnership, it can go through all kinds of things. Unconditional love, it will not break. But you may have some mind or idea that this is the way. It's going to go in the trash. What you think doesn't matter. What matters is what's going to happen here. And the eclipses are out of our control, but we can choose to align with them or not. But most likely with the eclipse in your ninth house, your mind that is blocking is going to get boom, and you become, okay, it's spiritual. I don't have control over this. I can have any rules I want. But again, these rules is mind. It's codependency. It's some sort of fear base. So again, we're releasing that. I think that's it. What do you got?
So
I'm excited for the flower. I always want to finish mine up so I can see what.
We have the orange lily. This says uplift your thoughts. So it's almost like let go of the nonsense chatter in your head, and now it's time to shift. I also want to read the little message at the bottom that says, focus your attention on the many blessings that surround you. By doing so, you'll let go of depression, poor self-esteem, and excess weight. So I don't know, this kind of reminds me too of with Aquarius, there, you can see here, like there's these little orange-ish dots, and then there's the part here where it's coming up. It's like Aquarians have all of these like high ideas, and sometimes they fall flat, like people don't get it. They don't really understand it. And then they start to feel badly about themselves. They think they're weird. They don't know where they fit in, all of that. And it's just like, let go of that and know that if, again, I think this also comes back to, we're looking at the Libra Aries, being yourself, and then your true divine partner will find you. You don't need to be anything else. You don't need to say or do anything else. Like, let your thoughts of what you have to be or what you have to do or how this is supposed to look go, because it's going to be what it's going to be if you get out of the way.
Well, don't you love how that's 2 flowers right there? That's like two flowers, unless there's a third one. Is it 2 flowers there or 3? You say 2 or 3?
It kind of, it's 2. There's like a third, like in the back that's kind of blurry, but 2 in the foreground for sure.
Well, the message comes to me from those 2 flowers and the way they're behaving is sort of like, just enjoy your, if you're in a true partnership and you have your person, and just like relationships, we have so much in our head, but if you get out of the head and you're in the moment, the truth of your relationship, if you have a good time and you just like enjoy the relationship and not have some sort of story in your head.
Oh God, the stories in our heads. Trouble. Oh boy.
Yeah.
At least they get me in trouble.
I currently work on that for shizzle.
All right, and we're closing out here with Pisces.
Yes, Pisces are going through a lot because you guys have so many planets in your Pisces signs. We've got Mars there. Here, I'm just going to share the screen so you guys realize how many planets we have in Pisces right now. So for Pisces, so there's March 26th. Well, it's on the 23rd, but for me to get the houses on there, it shifted the day, but it doesn't matter. The important thing is that we see that we've got Neptune, your ruling planet, in your first house, Venus, the depositor of this eclipse, Saturn smack on your right there, Mars, everything. This nuts. So actually, I wonder if on the actual eclipse we have Mars in Pisces yet. Probably not. Let's see. Does Mars on the 23rd? Wow, Mars literally goes right into the sign of Pisces on that 21st, on that 23rd. Holy manoli, I should have talked about that for Aries and Scorpio, but whatever. We've got quite a big stellium in Pisces, which is so spiritual. It's so like watery, emotional. We also have a lot of planets in Aries, so there's a bit more go energy. Ashwini, the sun, is in that first degree, those early degrees of Aries, very motivated and driven. But then that Mars, which rules Aries, is at 0 degrees Pisces on this eclipse. It's almost like higher consciousness Aries energy. It's almost like Mars is gaining higher spiritual consciousness about how to act forward from a spiritual. This is, again, a reason why this eclipse may not show a lot of movement, because Mars, the energy of action, is also in Pisces, close to Saturn. We are going to get a Saturn-Mars conjunction here soon. But bottom line is, for Pisces, big, huge, self-empowered, self-growth, maturity level for Pisces, seriousness, stepping forward, being focused, coming from the inside is these energies of Pisces, really in alignment and serious. And I know I can say this for my son, he's a Pisces rising. Very maturing. Neptune, your own planet in your own sign. It's such a slow moving planet. This is a big time for Pisces. Pisces are most likely, with the Neptune in their first house, are going to be very significant in the role of our evolution right now. I would say with this placement during these eclipses, in my opinion, I think Pisces are going to have a big rulership energy, because we're shifting into the feminine energy, the more spiritual. Like a lot of the stars are blue that usually have been red. I forget which ones they are, but they're shifting to the color of blue, which is, we're entering into a spiritual evolution.
Yeah.
I mean, look at these energies during these eclipses for Pisces. I think they're going to be our leaders. They're most often our projectors. Not all of them are, but often they are. So it is in human design, the projectors are being, shall we say, what's the word when you they're predicting to be the new sort of leaders of the new way, of the new energy, the shift to the feminine, which is more internal spirituality. We're coming into the higher enlightened times. So I would say that for Pisces, they become very, very spiritual warrior energetics. And it can, again, that spiritual warrior energetics is not necessarily, astrology, tarot, and crystals and new age or whatever. It's being very connected and confident and knowing who they are and initiating from a center, very empowered. So with that Libra, let's get back to the Libra eclipse. I got distracted there. With the Libra over their 9th house. Wait, I didn't move that. Sorry, it's the 1st house. It all works because I was talking about the 1st house. So Libra over their 8th house. Whoa. Yeah. Wow. Major release of out of alignment relationships, distorting the self for relationship, much more confident, believing in themselves. Aries in that eclipse coming in their 2nd house up ahead is nice. Really releasing deep fears about being in relationships, controlling relationships, joint partnerships, letting go of joint partnerships that are not good. Definitely releasing codependent relationships, releasing joint financings, getting divorced, or if you're in your stable relationship, releasing hiding behind it or fear. I want to say afraid of going against the relationship or afraid of not following the rule of the relationship, and letting the relationship survive on its own merit, as it were, because there's some bold movement going on with the Pisces that they can't be held back. They're not going to be held back by their relationship. They're going forward. There's strength in them. With that Mars there and Saturn, there's like, watch out. So the relationship, you're either coming with me or you're not. See you later if you're not. But the right relationship will be supportive, and they're going to see it. They're going to see, wow, I have a supportive relationship. This is a time when your divine partnership is going to come in. I'm reading for Pisces rising. I'm seeing that very strongly because you're letting go of the fear-based attachments to your relationship. So that immediately releases the energy field, allowing it to come in. You have more faith in yourself. Pisces have to believe in themselves. They gotta step into themselves, and Pisces can be doomsday. They can have really negative thinking that really holds them back. So now it's like, believe in yourself, Pisces. This is your time with Saturn in your 1st house. So basically they're releasing fear-based attachments to financial relationships, to relationships being dependent financially on a co-partnership, or they're letting go of their fears of doing it, and they are co-partnershiping, and they are joining resources, and they are coming into their relationship, their emotional relationship, and they have a lot of confidence to pull their resources together as a part of their financial future, because they have this next eclipse in the 2nd house. So for Pisces, just to sort of give it an overall, I would say that they are stepping into their full empowerment, releasing fear-based attachments, insecurities about who they are. This could be painful for them. That a big fear of finances. You might really land on your financial feet despite a big upset in your finances. A big fear sets in about your finances that it freaks you out, but then you just land on your feet. So now you have a spiritual, come on in, Dad.
Turn the music off.
I know, it was so funny. I couldn't figure out how to do it, so I just Anyway, Dan has arrived. But
let's finish this last little bit, and then we'll see if Dan wants to say a quick hello. So Dan the man. So for Pisces, so Madeline went ham on Pisces.
Deeper.
So Pisces, you got a little extra juice about what's going on. And it's interesting because the card that came through was a very different vibe. And I think it's for another aspect of the Libra energy for Pisces that Madeline didn't touch in on, and that's if you're in a relationship that is aligned with you, or you have people around you that really are meant to be in your world, to trust. The carnation is saying to trust them, that you're surrounded by earth angels that are here to support and to guide you. So some Pisces may be questioning things, and there may be reason to, but there may be people in your life that really are there to guide you, to lead you, to support you, and to help you through this transition, through this process, and be, be that support for you. Eighth house is, other people's money, other people's resources, your partner, whomever it might be, that trust them. They're there for you.
Yes, and Pisces.
That's the carnation.
Facing, financial dependence too. Or maybe in a relationship that they're just in because it's financially supportive. That could be something they let go of.
Yeah.
What, there is your phone right there. Look, 144, right when you find your phone. I know. And it's day. You get like a message every 5 minutes, Dan. Don't worry, it's fine.
So Dan, and where did he leave? Is he still there?
Yeah,
Where
he's
is he?
gonna come on in, Dan.
Okay, so we just want to share when I want to share a little story. So when I was in Idaho in the fall, and we did the reveal where Madeline and Lane and I met for the first time, I spent the morning, that first morning, on the beach with Dan and Madeline, met him for the first time, and the three of us had, right there on the lake, gorgeous. And we had the most epic, incredible conversation that flowed like we'd known each other for eons. And
like 2 hours, I think.
I know, we just right away.
It's like 2 hours on the beach.
Yep.
yeah,
Then we
it
went
was
for coffee. I don't even think that the 2 hours ended the day. I think then we went out for coffee or something.
We were like 5 hours together.
we did. And then I think we took a break, and then we got together for dinner. I mean, it was just this really fun, beautiful experience. And I was so grateful for the connection, and there's just the whole thing. It was just such a playful, joyful time with so many great memories.
Leo, Gemini.
No,
Don't you have Leo in your chart?
yeah, moon,
Moon.
Gemini sun, and then Virgo rise.
See, as soon as you get around Dan, you're gonna have fun because he's Gemini and Leo.
No, it's gonna have fun because he's with you and Madeline.
Really? Oh, good. Thanks, Dan.
No, it's fun. It was great.
I have no Leo or Gemini.
Oh,
Well, that you have us.
Dan is the fun.
I have 4 things of Leo. What do you have, Leo?
She does.
I've got a lot of Leo.
Yeah, I've got 4.
Yeah.
See, you got 4 things in Leo.
Yeah, and I've got 2 in Gemini and 1 in Virgo rising.
You're rising. Well, you're gonna
So the PS to the story is we also, the three of us, looked at our astrology and noticed all of these unbelievably crazy connections between us. So you never know, you might see Dan again on an upcoming something.
yes.
So yeah, so
But that's all right. We'll figure a next topic for us 3 to get together.
I actually was in a Gnosis book class. It's a spirit book class I do once a week. And it was at the same time that you guys were here. Otherwise, I would have been here with you.
yes, well, that's okay.
Added comments from Dan. They could be interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well, very nice to pull me in. Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.
All right. So,
all right. So anyway, that was Dan, everyone. Thank you for joining us. You just got a little glimpse into our wild and wacky world and the fun that we have on and off camera. We hope this was helpful. Please do like, share, and comment on both my page and Madelaine's, because it helps us very much.
We love the likes.
And then we will be back here on April 1st, which is a Monday, at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, talking about the Aries total solar eclipse, which is going to be big time, which is why we're doing our live early, so that you have time to prepare, because it will be the following week. So again, thank you for
and if
joining us.
anybody would like to join tomorrow night, I am hosting a class on Zoom on these eclipses, on the nodes and past life karma, and what theme is playing out, what karmic theme you're learning in these eclipses. So if you want to sign up, go ahead, email me, MadelaineParker111@gmail.com. and join in if you like. It'll be-
Perfect. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks, Madeline. We'll see you guys here in a couple weeks.
All right. Thanks, Amalia. Bye. Dan, how many messages did you get?
A lot. Oh, are you on?
No, we're off.
Oh.
I mean, Amalia's still there, but we
Oh,
zoomed off.
God. I kept forgetting you
Doesn't he
guys.
look different? Doesn't he has
With your hair, yeah.
Look, I'm thin. I
He's
lost
really
15
skinny.
pounds.
Oh my God.
It's hard to tell on the video. So sorry if I didn't acknowledge your thinness.
All right, and then this is 4 months. I'm getting a
Thick
haircut
hair.
tomorrow.
Wow, look at your.
I'm getting it
Wow.
trimmed up tomorrow, but I'm gonna leave,
That's
what do you
Leo.
guys think? I'm gonna leave it kind of long,
I
but
like it.
I like the length.
it'll get shaped up.
Yeah, it looks good. It's very, very dapper.
I don't want to feel like I've never left the 70s, you know, you gotta be careful. You gotta kind of redo
It
it.
doesn't look like that. It looks very like
It
beachy.
looks more relaxed and no, I think
Yeah.
it's kind of more like the
It's
times
Kind
actually.
of
I
more
was,
who I am, really. It doesn't
Yeah.
always get too funky.
I like
I
it.
didn't get 70s at all.
Because you're so like perfect and your thing about you is perfect that your hair being a little wild makes a little more dimension.
It's nice to have Pippi back.
I know. I'm so happy you guys are hanging out together. It makes me want to definitely come.
Yeah.
When are you coming out?
Before it's too cold for paddleboarding, that we've
So
established.
August,
Yeah,
September.
I've got to figure out my birthday and Europe because I'm going to Switzerland and Germany
I'm doing a lot of traveling, aren't you?
in July. But then my thing was, all right, if I come back, I want to be with Misha, but then where can we go? And if I come back from Europe, then I come back here and then I have to go. I was thinking maybe coming to you guys, but then that's like, I just feel like I'm going to be dead. That's a lot of,
September is usually really nice, especially the first part of September. So don't be
Okay.
afraid of missing anything by September. And it's quiet here. The lake, it's really
Still up.
Yeah, lake's still up. We're still boating. It's peaceful.
okay.
But early September, like right after school starts.
Okay.
That's a good
All
time.
right. I got to think about it because I also want to go out to Colorado to catch one of my favorite spiritual teachers. He's going to be in Boulder. And and if I'm coming that far, I might as well just kind of make the trip from
Yeah.
there. I got to see when that is, but I think it's October.
Oh, well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's here in October, but it's not like
No paddleboarding.
bathing suit weather.
She came in October.
Oh, well, you saw it.
Yeah.
But
But you guys are still there in October.
Yeah.
So then it would work.
Yeah, if you get here like into September, first week of October, you're okay, but we won't really be swimming probably. We could be boating, we could be on the lake. Well, see,
No, just the boat.
Okay.
yeah, we
Do
still
you
have our
send your
boat,
boat? When do you send your boat off?
mid-October,
Oh,
but you'll figure it
Oh,
out.
okay. Okay. Well, I'll keep you posted. I'll let you
The
know.
wild pants?
I love those. I think my kids actually had those like 10 years ago.
are you going hunting?
So I got the old hair, the old pants.
It's the
Look,
resurrection.
there's a squirrel in the hammock. when we're
Oh,
going
what does the
crazy.
squirrel mean? What is the message of the squirrel? Because I know squirrels.
Oh, I'll tell you. Hold on.
Yeah, what
Hang
is
on.
it?
I
know
got
what
one of my
pictures of
reference
them,
books.
right in my face.
And yesterday, the first bird came and sat in the tree, a
Really?
robin, and he was going
Oh,
crazy until I went
really?
out and said hello to him.
Really?
Yeah, because in Georgia, there's all these songbirds. It's just beautiful. And then I thought,
Wow.
oh, birds here yet. Sat in that tree and
Wow.
balked at me till I went out.
Really?
You guys, I learned so much in my gnosis class today. I wish I could regurgitate
Oh,
it to
I wish you could
It
too.
was so special.
Oh,
Phallics and elementals.
Did you get a message from the bird, from the, what were you looking up, a message?
squirrel.
That's
Squirrel. Yeah. The main energies are diligence, vigilance, mobility. Fear dissipates when your basic needs are met. Desiring more than that can create a feeling of scarcity, says the squirrel. All right. If a squirrel comes into your life,
Mm-hmm.
you may need to explore new ways to relax, take a day off, or go on a retreat.
Interesting. I like that message. Wow, that was very important for me to hear.
Look at you.
was,
Look at you.
well, which is just to relax. I've got Saturn on my MC right now. And so I'm not really working that much. Saturn blocks things. My MC is my career. So I haven't really been doing many readings, and I'm like,
Oh, you'll be
but
fine.
I keep
Well,
seeing
the other part of it is, the other message is, hold on, give me patience to tend to the seeds of my potential.
Well, what's interesting is, and this happens to me when I come to Sandpoint, I go through some weird thing where I go like adjustment, where I kind of have like spasm because it's so slow here, and it's like nothing's going on. I start spasming. It's weird, but then I finally break through it, and then I become really connected, and I start focusing on my career, and I see this whole new level I want to reach on my work and what I want to start learning more about. It's like, it's such a bizarre thing. And then I suddenly relax. I'm into that flow of Sandpoint, which is flip flop slow, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like,
I think it's just you having to settle down. You come from Europe, you came from Palm Desert, and it's like you're getting back, and now it's so spirit here, and you're having to quiet down a little bit.
And now I want to take, like, I have a whole idea of how I want to do my readings now, because I'm going to do readings at this fair this weekend, and I'm going to make these cards that people pull first, so I know what the read's about. I mean, I've got all these ideas suddenly coming to me because
Great, that's awesome.
I know. So it's like I'm supposed to be here and like shut off the rest of the world, so I can focus on how to be a better version of me.
Yep. So that you
I just keep hearing.
Oh, a box out there?
No, it's an anchor for the
Oh.
boat thing. So this fair is Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
and there's about 10 practitioners.
Wow.
I always go to this too, but there's several new ones that we're excited
I'm gonna be
about.
excited about. I want to try them.
That's where I was at the book club that she has.
Oh, nice.
I wonder if you're gonna after that book. I wonder if you're gonna take on Alma's storm. No,
I don't think so. When Alma goes.
yeah. I don't know how to feel.
I think I've got bigger things.
But
All right, guys, I wish I could talk to you longer, but I got a client call in a few minutes, and I need to kind of regroup. And
so glad you could join. We could
Yeah.
get together again.
I know, me too. It made me so happy.
Yep.
It was really fun. It was really fun.
Would have to let me know what people thought when some weird guy jumps
Pops
in at
in.
the very end.
I think that people will love it if they watch till the end. I don't know how many people actually watch till the end,
People all
but
the way.
we'll-
You know,
Well, at least a couple.
we'll see.
so competitive.
Yeah, well, I mean, we
We're
had
gonna be soldiers out there.
a few people on live, so maybe they stayed.
Yeah.
All right, good to see you.
You
Lovely
too.
seeing
You
you,
too.
Amalia.
Hey, Madeline, I'm gonna send you a link for my book. So if you could put that in your description, because I mentioned it in the video, that would be
Sure.
appreciated.
I will.
Okay. All right.
Be in
All
touch
right.
with the talk.
All right. I will. I'll be in touch.
All right.
Love you guys. Yeah.
You.